Hi, welcome to another episode of Chai and Charcha. And in this video, we'll be talking about AI, beauty, and insecurity. So, for anybody who has been on this channel before, knows that I am very annoyed with AI, particularly because it's on my face all the time. As somebody who uses Google Doc a lot, AI is just on my face all the time. Open Google, there's AI. I open Google Doc, there's AI. I open Instagram, there's AI. On Instagram now, there's also a feature of you could kind of send in a message and you could change it to the mood that you like. You can also reword the message that you're trying to send. AI is just here all around us, and I cannot help but feel tracked all the time, and I feel like they know what I'm sending to whom. And the idea of just being that there's a third person watching what I do and what I say and to whom do I say what just sends me, I don't know, I feel very weird thinking about it, that I am in a constant state of surveillance, and whatever I'm saying and doing and watching will probably be used to train AI. But without further ado, that is not the contention of today's video. There's a woman called Sarah Wynne Williams, and she was the Meta's director of global policy, and I read in an article where she talked about how Meta was using the data of young teens and preteens. What they were basically trying to do with that data was to understand it, analyze it, and send ads accordingly to those preteens and teens. What Meta was doing was basically it was tracking the behavior of teenagers, teens who would post pictures of themselves online and then would delete it. Those children were more likely to get weight loss diets, weight loss journeys, weight loss advertisements, and so on. The idea is basically how Meta has been trying to create insecurity to be able to push down regimes, ads, products, people's throats, so that they inevitably convert into insecure consumers who would get lured by these things. Another thing which has been happening in today's world is Meghan Trainor took Ozempic, and by no means and form is what Meghan Trainor does anything to do with what we discuss. It's her body, it's her choice, and she chose to take Ozempic was not something that was in my bingo card in 2025 at all. Recently, she did a concert and she looked entirely different, and she didn't look like the Meghan Trainor that I knew. So a lot of fans were visibly upset, not because she has chosen to change herself and how she look, but also with the idea that she had changed the lyrics of her body positivity songs like All About the Bass, and she had made it around Ozempic. In that concert, she changed the line from I'm all about the bass to I'm all about Ozempic. It's a very celebrated lyrics in her song, which was, and it's pretty clear that I ain't no size 2. And in her song during that concert, she changed the lyrics from it's pretty clear that I ain't no size 2 to and it's pretty clear that I got some new boobs. What I'm very angry about is that she had pretty young followers, and she was, I feel, back in the day when I was in school, one of the only mainstream popular singers who was not very skinny. She won a Grammy for that song, and Ozempic became available to her. Her body positivity and her narrative around it went down the drain. So what is very weird about her whole exchange with body positivity is that she got breast implants, and the breast implants are not something, I mean, it's people's choice, right? People can do whatever they want with their body. But she shared a full-blown ad, the company that she got those new breasts from, and it was an advertisement reel which was posted on her page.
Hey everyone, it's Meghan Trainor, and I've got some big news to share. Yep, I got my boobs done. Always struggled with loving my boobs before I got them done because they were never even. Were always saggy my whole life. These breast implants are the only ones in the world with smooth silk, a surface designed to minimize inflammation, so the tissue around the implant stays soft. Honestly, they look and feel amazing. It's not an easy decision to have surgery, but Motiva's unheard of device-related complications rate of less than 1% reassured me that I was making the right choice.
Together with my board-certified plastic surgeon, we chose the Motiva Smooth Silk Ergonomics implants. I wanted to make sure I had a very natural look and feel, which is why the ergonomics implants made the most sense, because
which irked people because such enhancement shouldn't be advertised, especially to an audience which is younger. I mean, it's weird because it's coming from somebody who was contending against all these ideas or was making fun of all these ideas until it became available to her. And there has been debates about it, although I do not mind her using Ozempic or wanting to look a certain way, but it does tell a lot about the kind of society we live in and what we are headed towards. While I was researching for this video, what I could really find was that how, for example, me, right, I'm kind of old enough to not be insecure by an ad or two, or that Meta cannot dictate what I do in terms of how I think and what I say. But for somebody, some impressionable 12, 13 years old, I cannot imagine the wreck it would bring into their life. They would start buying into these advertisements. So I was able to kind of figure out how the contention of not being enough or being insecure is put down into people. And of course, it's a working theory that I'm working on. I realized that it happens in this way. First, it is hoisted out as necessity. So if you look into these ads which these young people are being sent, you're being sent advertisements of beauty products, you're being sent advertisements of dietary regimes. And that is the first kind of introduction you have to any of these products. And you see them and you do not act on them. These are just on your feed and you're constantly being bombarded by them. Secondly, then comes the idea of choice that we allocate a lot of celebrities to, like Meghan Trainor, that it was simply her choice that she decided to do something like that. And it sediments on the idea of necessity, which was being sent to you by ads. While the choice is not really a choice, because culturally also there's a sort of a body which is privileged amongst the others. The Indian subcontinent, especially in the northern region that I inhabit, feel as if a skinnier body and a fairer body is given more preference than the others. So the contention happened through it that first it is posted as necessities through ads, then it is sent to you as choice when you see your favorite celebrities and artists suddenly losing weight and giving all the credit to Ozempic. Step of this is the lack, that when you see celebrities going through it and you already are aware of ads and advertisements and products and services available which will help you to reach those body goals that you see others have, immediately feel that there's something wrong with you and that you need to do something to be able to gain that. And that is where the insecurity actually births itself, is when Meta becomes successful and you become a target to be able to click on those products and ads. But the lack is then further solidified by the people that you see on the screen, the people that you see on TV. I think the fourth and the most important part is affordability, which comes into picture when you realize that at least certain segments of the society, or you're trained to think that if you have to look a certain way to be able to be valued, to behave a certain way to be valued. I look at the contemporary heroines in the Indian cinema, ones that are mainstreamingly popular, they all just look the same. And I'm not saying that, oh, there's something wrong with it, but when you see all these people looking the way that they do and you do not look like them, realizing that there is a whole entourage behind them, and then there's an editing team, there's a photography team, there's a makeup team, and all those people doing the magic, suddenly a lack which needs affordance, which happens when you click on those ads and you get all those products that you perhaps would never needed. For example, if you look at Meghan Trainor, and she talks about how she did it because she has 2 sons and she wants to live a healthier life, and she feels as if the weight that she had was not being able to let her live the kind of life she wanted. I feel a lot of people have been saying that. A lot of celebrities who use Ozempic use the narrative that fat is not healthy, and that fat is only unhealthy until you get your hands on Ozempic. Now skinnier becomes the luxury, which is also very difficult to afford. So not everybody can afford Ozempic, but people can afford beauty products and they could afford dietary plans. Now, in the final stages of what we have been discussing, it is posted as a choice. Taking Ozempic becomes a choice when it is all about cultural capital. Said only certain bodies are valued in the kind of system that we live in. Imagine a 12-13-year-old believing and seeing something like that. It's gonna crush their ego. They're never gonna be confident, and it would take them years of unlearning to be able to come back to track where they would not only feel confident but would feel worthy in themselves and their skins and in who they are. In off topic, all these ideas also makes me feel very weird because I really don't understand where we are headed as a society. I think in every video I make, I feel like Women's Day is nearer than ever. On a similar tangent, I feel as if I remember back in the day there used to be an award which was given to body positive creators, and what was the most ironical fact about these influencers getting these awards was that they were not even making content on body positivity. Just people who won these awards were often creators who were not just skinny. They were just any other creator, but they didn't have a skinny body and they had nothing to do with body positivity essentially. What also this kind of obsession with bodies, interesting to look at how AI is being impacted by these videos. So while researching for this essay, I found out that there's two sorts of AI body. One is the AI bodies which are merely look AI and has nothing to do with humans, and the others are AI bodies which are made on human bodies. What is very weird about both these bodies is that they are nowhere near what actually people are. The AI robots are anyway very, very skinny. They particularly cater to, I think, the male gaze. The AI bodies which are made on actual bodies are very weird because if you look on these bodies, they are very nice versions of beauty, right? So I mean, I was looking at bodies which were not conventionally skinny, and if you look at those bodies, they have very aestheticized fat, right? So they have thick thighs but they have a slim waist, they have big breasts but they have skinny arms. I have never seen people with weight being allocated that way. There's a fetishization of fatness in those videos. These AI women are not exactly fat. Going through Twitter while researching for this video, and I found out that vision of buying and selling these bodies. So what a lot of these apps have started to do now is that you create a AI body based on real bodies, and you can make them wear the clothes that you like, you can make them act the way that you like, and then you can sell these off to other people and you can earn money through it. I have never made an account on a website like this, so I don't know how it works, but essentially what it is doing is that you are benefiting out of a body that is not yours and is made on somebody else's body, but then you also have the currency to be able to sell it. I don't know what kind of legal theorization would be used here, but it seems very problematic in terms of the cultural and the behavioral context of it. I'm just very weirded out by how AI has been used and is being used by us, whether it's in terms of the ads that we watch, whether it's terms of the content that we are seeing, whether it's on the terms that content that is being made of us for people to consume. Body dysmorphia would be in all-time high rise because of the things that has been happening around us, where our bodies are being represented as anything but what is truly is. So I think weird about all of this is that these are not just representation of what actually women's body is supposed to be, but also the idea of how people would want women's body to look like. So these are made by the male gaze for the male gaze and has nothing to do with women altogether, but then these are women's body. That is also, I think, is a very tricky conversation to have. I have a lot of conversations with the elders in my house where they are not able to figure out whether these are AI bodies or they are not AI bodies. And I mean, that is also something which scares me a lot, that I am able to figure out these are AI generated pictures and AI generated bodies and have nothing to do with people in actual life. But what about people who will not be able to kind of figure out? I think a lot of manipulation and all these things have been happening in our country as well, where people have been kind of morphing the body and faces of different people and blackmailing others and trying to bring down other people and trying to harass other people. With that, I come to the end of today's video. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye bye.